Hold on.
Thanks for helping me out today. You know what happened the last one when you cash your check? I said, oh, I got the number to the lawyer's diary.
We're ready.
Certified cashier's check.
Okay.
Certified bank check.
All right, I'll call this meeting to order.
I guess
Township Council, Parsippany-Troy Hills meeting of July 19, 2011. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the municipal building on December 15, 2010, where it has remained posted since that date. All legal notices appeared in both the Daily Record and the Star Ledger and was forwarded by fax to other local newspapers and local radio stations on December 16, 2010. Note, council meetings are videotaped and aired on Cablevision, Public Access Channel 21 at 2 p.m. on Sundays, and are also available for viewing at www.parsippany.net.
Will you also
The
note the
time
time?
is, pardon?
Yes. Go ahead.
The time is 7:30. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cesaro.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Here.
Mr. Ferrara.
Here.
Mr. Stanton. Council President Fox.
Is absent.
Also present are Mayor Barbario, Ms. Lim, the Business Administrator, Mr. Inglesino, the Township Attorney, and Leslie Miller, our acting clerk for the evening, I guess. Is that the title we're using here?
I guess.
Okay. Would you all join me in the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance
One nation under God.
Okay, upcoming meetings, August 9th, 2011, at 7:30 p.m., agenda meeting, public invited,
Once.
public participation.
That's it.
8/16/11 at 7:30 p.m., regular meeting, public invited, public participation. Bids to be taken, none. RFQs, none. All right, now I'll do the assignments. Mr. Stanton, number 1. Mr. Cesaro, number 2.
Yes.
Consent agenda, Mr. Ferrera. And then we're going to do the first add-on, I guess, and then the second one after we come out of closed session. So the first add-on, Mr. Stanton. Okay, ordinance for introduction, Mr. Stanton.
July 19, 2011, ordinance number 2011:016. Ordinance amended section... Give me 2 seconds.
There you go.
Yeah, take over. I'll take number 2.
No problem. Mr. DePiero, I'll do number 1. July 19, 2011, ordinance number 2011:016, ordinance
Switch
amending,
heading for Mr. Stanton.
an ordinance amending section 285-4, Schedule A, no parking fire zones of Article 1 of Chapter 285, parking of the Code of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, to establish fire zones and regulate parking at 260 Walsh Drive, Block 136, Lot 36. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on July 19, 2011. That said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage in a meeting held on August 16, 2011 at 7:30 p.m. prevailing time, or as soon thereafter this matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper recording the law.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cesaro, second by Mr. Ferrera. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cesaro.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Okay. For second reading, Mr. Stanton.
Ordinance number 2011:15, be resolved ordinance entitled amending powers, duties of purchasing agent, be read in title only on second reading, here and held thereon.
Motion by Mr. Stanton, second by Mr. Cesaro. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cesaro.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
All right, open the meeting to the public on this ordinance only. Anyone wishing to come forward? You have 5 minutes.
Annalise Catanzaro, 67 Midvale Avenue. I know this has been on the agenda for a while. We've been discussing it, and one thing that I noticed about the ordinance is it doesn't actually have the new bid threshold in here. Originally, when we had spoken about it, you had said it's moving it from 17.5 to, I think, doubling it to 34,000, or 35,000. And here, I don't see the actual number listed out. Does that mean that we're giving the purchasing agent free reign on
No, it
contracts?
can't. There's not a number in there because the number changes periodically. So it would be the number that the statute authorizes the purchasing agent to utilize. And that number will change every year and a half or something like that, or 3 years. It periodically changes.
So this is referring to a state statute?
Just like the 17.5 changes. 17.5 used to be a lot lower. And the state will change that number periodically. So whatever the number is that the state establishes at that time will be the applicable number.
So
Mr. Inglesey says in the second whereas that it will be dictated by state statute.
Yes, okay, yeah.
So what's the actual amount by state statute right now?
I don't recall exactly what it is, right? I think it's 36 or
36.
38,
Okay.
I think it's 36.
36 or so.
And so it's just because it's dictated by state statute, we're not putting the actual amount in, but it is going to be 36 instead of
It's going
what was 17.5.
At the moment, the applicable number is 36,000 or whatever it is, and the number will change. That's why there's not a number in the ordinance, because that would be incorrect. The ordinance is written to reflect the state statute, and the number under the state statute changes periodically, so it'll just be whatever that number is.
And my apologies, I'm not really familiar with the current ordinance. Does the current ordinance just reference the state statute?
There is no current ordinance,
So why we're using the 17.5 number?
because that's state law. What the state does is it establishes a minimum threshold or dollar figure, and there's a number for municipalities that do not have a purchasing agent,
Which is the
and there's a
17.5,
number for that municipalities can avail themselves of if they have a purchasing agent.
which is the 36.
Parsippany has a purchasing agent.
Okay. So we're just
So-
it's clarifying that
Correct.
item there.
Yeah, the past clerk had told me that, as a matter of course, that's what they did anyway. And so this ordinance, A, codifies past practice, and B, makes very clear the fact that the township is using the bid threshold that state law permits where there is a purchasing agent in place, which there is in Parsippany.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wish to come forward? See no one come forward, I close the public portion. Continue, please.
Whereas the above ordinance read in title, second reading, here and held thereon. Now therefore be it resolved, said ordinance be passed final reading, said notice of final passage, said ordinance be published in newspaper according to law.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Stanton, second by Mr. Cesaro. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cesaro.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
All right, now open the meeting to the public on any matter whatsoever. You have 5 minutes. Mr. Stanton will be the official timekeeper.
You're down to 3.
What's up, Rome?
Hi there. I heard Roy's MIA, so I thought I'd come up and irritate you. So, Where is Roy?
Name and address first.
Roman 919 Lakeshore Drive. I just updating you. I kind of brought this up before about the $10,000 legal fee expenditure that the board made. Of course, I think you all know that it was dismissed from the appellate division, and some of you might be aware of that. I had filed my own order to show cause, trying to stop it. And I'm a dummy, and I wrote out my order that what happened was that the board president and board secretary decided to take it upon themselves to make that legal fee expenditure. And I wrote out my orders so that the whole board would have to come back and vote on the legal fee expenditure. And you saw the note, John. Judge Bozzanella shot back that, even if he was so inclined, he wouldn't be able to sign that order because the board would have to exhaust all the administrative remedies. So I questioned then President Anthony Mancuso about that. And when I asked if they had exhausted the administrative remedies, first he said, yeah, sure, we did that. And after a little more questioning, it became apparent that they had not. And like 6 months later, of course, the appellate division dismissed it outright for not exhausting the administrative remedies. I'm still trying to get the law firm to bring back the 10 grand because that wasn't properly appropriated, wasn't properly was an improper procedure, I guess you would say. I might need to borrow the jaws of life from the fire department to pry that money back from Weiner Lesniak, but I am working on it. So just an update.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roland.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to come forward?
No, but just,
Annalise Catanzaro, 67 Midvale Avenue. I just wanted to ask one question. Were we able to get an add-on for the Municipal Alliance grant
Yes,
resolution?
that's an
Okay,
add-on.
I wasn't sure. I didn't mention it before. So thank you in advance for considering that. And just like a quick summary of what that is. Each year, the county allows us to apply for grant funding. The governor has actually recently appointed a statewide representative to kind of oversee all of the county municipal alliance committees. So we were concerned about whether or not MAC funding was going to be available in years forward, but there is someone that's been appointed to that position, so it looks like we will have the money. I completed the grant renewal, and the mayor signed off on that. Thank you. The county has that, and one requirement of us to get the $28,000 is both a cash match, which is a fourth of that money, so $7,725, and we're able to kind of quadruple that amount in the MAC funding, which I'm sure you all know. And we do, one of the stipulations is we have to have a council resolution that allows us to apply. So I hope that you'll consider that. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I know I keep harping on this, but it's one thing that even though we've been doing it in the past, I think it's just worth expressing. By passing this ordinance that, allows us to go above that threshold, even if it is a state statute. I think there's a flaw there because it doesn't allow the public to really weigh in on any large contract bids before it happens. So even if the contract is the bid itself and the contracts itself are readily available after they've been signed off on, it doesn't really, it's already happened. So if the council and the mayor would come before an open session and say, here are the 3 bids for this project, it doesn't give people in the audience here or residents a chance to say, we don't think this is money well spent, maybe you should reconsider this. So I just, even though we've been doing it in the past and even though state statute allows.
The public doesn't weigh in on bids anyway. That's not a true statement. If the council wants to go out to public bid for a particular project, that's a policy issue. That's the thing to weigh in on. The awarding of the contract and the bid is awarded pursuant to a statutory process. Mm-hmm. There's not public comment on that part of it.
But it is something that's presented to the public prior to the decision being made and the dollars being spent.
It's not, that's not a matter that is subject to public comment. Once the town goes out to bid and the bid is awarded, the council is simply ratifying that the bid process was carried out in accordance with statutes. It's a ratification of the statutory process that has been carried out. That's all it is. To the extent that you're insinuating that there's some sort of public comment on the awarding of a bid, that's not correct.
Although you would argue that if under this law or under this like ordinance and acknowledgement of the state statute and saying that the purchasing agent in Parsippany would allow for anything, below 36,000 free reign. It's nothing that has to be published or nothing that the council has to review.
There's not free reign. It simply authorizes the purchasing agent to award that contract without going through a public bid process. That's all it does.
There's no such thing here as free reign, okay? During the budget process, we establish a budget for each department, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's the mayor's job, the administration's job, to run the township, all the departments, within the budget that the council approves, all right? So there's no free reign. Now, within that, we have expenditures that are regulated on how we spend the money and how we bid, and that's also by state statute. So these are all covered by regulation. We're not going to recreate the law and open everything up to the public. It's just not the way it's done.
Okay. Another thing I want, this is a totally separate issue from the contract bid issue, and it actually deals with the golf utility. I was talking to someone and they had a pretty good idea, which I thought I would like bring before you, and if possible, refer to that committee that would take care of that. Is there any sort of senior discount to be a member of the Knoll?
There are discounts offered at the Knoll East Country Club for senior citizens.
But not the Knoll West?
At the Knoll West, there are discounts, while the Parsippany residents pay a lower fee than non-residents.
Okay. Just
And
thought
weekday fees are cheaper than weekend fees.
Got it. Just thought it would be potentially worth looking at, because especially with census numbers and the number of, seniors are the fastest growing population in Parsippany, might be a nice kind of service to offer the Knoll West as an opportunity to have a discount there too. So.
Thank you for your input. Anyone else wish to speak? Seeing no one come forward, I close the public portion. Okay, we're up to consent agenda. Mr. Ferrara.
All items listed in an abstract are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the Township Council. It will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered its normal sequence on the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ferrera, second by Mr. Cicero. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Okay, now we have the add-on. Mr. Stanton, make a motion to add it on first.
I'm going to be switch hitting there.
Oh,
Here it is. Thank you.
you have to make a motion to add it on first.
Sure, I'd like to make a motion to add on the first resolution.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cicero,
Second by
second by Mr. Stanton. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes,
Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
May I?
please.
July 19, 2011, resolution of Township Council, Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, authorizing submission of an application for the Municipal Alliance Grant for calendar year 2012, whereas the Township Council of Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey recognizes that the abuse of alcohol and drugs is a serious problem in our society amongst persons of all ages, and whereas the Township Council further recognizes that it is incumbent upon not only public officials, but upon the entire community to take action to prevent such abuses in our community, and whereas the Township Council has applied for funding to the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse through the County of Morris, now therefore be resolved that by the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, hereby recognize the following. 1. The Township Council supports and authorizes the submittal of an application for the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills Municipal Alliance Grant for calendar year 2012 in the amount of $28,901. The Township acknowledges the terms and conditions for administering the Municipal Alliance Grant, including the administrative compliance and audit requirements. 3. The Mayor and Township Council are hereby authorized to execute executive grant agreement on behalf of Okay. I'm stumbling on the grammar here. 3, the mayor and township council are hereby authorized to
clerk.
execute,
Township clerk.
I got you, execute a grant agreement on behalf of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. 4, the appropriate officials are authorized to take whatever steps necessary to complete the grant application and meet other grant requirements. 5, this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cesaro, second by Mr. Ferrera. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cesaro.
Yes?
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
All right, now we need to go into closed session.
Want me to read that, Mr. President?
Please.
Council Vice President, sorry. Resolution, whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the Township Council wishes to discuss personnel matters, and whereas minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires confidentiality, the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved by Township Council, Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, that the public be excluded from this meeting.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cesaro, second by Mr. Ferrera. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cesaro.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
If I don't see anyone, have a good night.
Jamie, should we go into your office or? Session? Do we need a vote to open the session?
Yes, it's
It's on the,
All right,
it's on the last page of the agenda.
roll call. I put the agenda away already.
You want Brian to do it?
I make a motion to open the meeting back into public session.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Cesaro.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Cesaro, read,
Sure. I'm going to start reading slow so I don't get picked for this.
add it on first.
I'd like to make a motion to add on the resolution, Mr. Inglesino, just call it regarding ongoing litigation.
No, this is a resolution to settle
To settle.
litigation.
Settle litigation, okay.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Cesaro, second by Mr. Stanton. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cesaro.
Yes?
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Resolution of Township Council of Parsippany-Troy Hills. Whereas Joseph Mangiello has been employed by Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, the Township Police Department, for approximately 25 years, currently serving in the rank of sergeant. And whereas disputes between Sergeant Mangiello and the Township arose as set forth in cases bearing docket numbers A-2260-09T3, A-5046-09T2, 2010-1876, CSV 6587-2010N, and whereas the Township and Sergeant Mangiello desired to resolve their disputes of the matter set forth above, now therefore the Township Council hereby authorizes as follows: that the mayor and or the appointing authority to execute a settlement agreement with Sergeant Mangiello that provides for, among other things, the following. 1, Sergeant Mangiello releases the Township and its officials, agents, representatives from any and all of his claims up to and including the date of this agreement, except for his pending workers' compensation claim and his application for disability retirement. 2, Sergeant Mangiello will be retroactively placed on administrative leave beginning on February 25th, 2011 through July 31st, 2011, during which time he will not be charged with the use of sick, vacation, personal, or compensatory time. Sick time used after February 25th, 2011 will be credited to his bank of sick time. 3, Sergeant Mangiello shall retire from the department effective on or about August 1st, 2011, so long as his pension service 25 years is not negatively affected by that retirement date. Do I read the parentheses, Mr. Glazino?
You could, yes, read the parentheses into the record.
Okay. There was some confusion as to whether he would have the full 25 years of service with the township as of August 1st, 2011. 4, Sergeant Mangiello agrees to the proration of any sick, vacation, or personal time earned in 2011 as per past practice, so that no such time will be earned after February 25th, 2011. 5, Sergeant Mangiello agrees to surrender his sidearm and other department-issued items immediately, but remain a paid department employee on approved leave until his retirement date. He will be provided with a retirement badge and retirement identification as soon as possible. 6, if his accidental disability retirement application is denied by the state of New Jersey, Sergeant Mangiello will commence a regular service retirement upon completion of 25 years of service. 7, Sergeant Mangiello will be compensated for accumulated sick, vacation, personal, compensatory time pursuant to the requirements of the SOA collective bargaining agreement. 8, the parties agree that Sergeant Mangiello will not be dismissing his pending workers' comp claim concerning injuries sustained on duty in a motor vehicle accident, which will proceed in its normal course. 9, Sergeant Mangiello will receive benefit bank time as explicitly described in the settlement agreement. He will also receive compensation for all accrued and unused benefits pursuant to the SOA agreement, with the first payment on September 1st, 2011, in which, when combined with his salary earned prior to retirement, shall not exceed his normal 2011 working salary. 10, The township agrees to cooperate with Sergeant Mangiello in the filing of a disability retirement application before PFRS and agrees not to oppose that filing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cicero, second by Mr. Ferrara. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Okay, the ultimate,
To the public, this is what he was getting anyway, so they don't think we're just giving out, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe ask Johnny.
you want to just explain that there's nothing here that we're giving it in addition to what?
Yeah.
Yes, this case involves a series of disputes between the sergeant and the township, frankly, that date back several years. The resolution of this matter essentially ensures that he is provided with the benefits under the collective bargaining agreement in place. The township is not paying any additional monies in consideration of this settlement. So monies that he will receive and be paid for accumulated sick and vacation time are, again, monies that he's entitled to under the collective bargaining agreement.
I make a motion to close this meeting.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cicero, second by Mr. Ferrara. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Meeting is adjourned at 8:04.
Have a good night, everyone.